Am I the a-hole for not wanting to spend my lottery winning on a new car for my boyfriend? Recently, I, female 26, have won quite a lot of money in lottery. It's not the main prize, but it was one of the top 3, and it's a life-changing amount in my country. I grew up poor, very poor, and while I worked my way up, my closest family is still struggling. I help, but I cannot fix everything. At least I couldn't before. My winnings were recently deposited to my bank account, completely separate one to my normal one, and I'm not touching that money until I have my meeting with my financial advisors that I hired. My plan is to use small amount of money to enjoy, use part to improve my family's life, like buying them flats that they can later on afford to upkeep but in safer place and of better quality, and invest the vast majority in different ventures to ensure a stream of revenue for years to come so I can live comfortably and help my family. The only people that know are my closest family and my boyfriend, Andy, male 30. We've been together for 7 months, but we don't live together. Andy has different plans though. He basically came up with a list of items he needs and have been pressuring me into getting them before I even speak to my advisors. Basically, he wants a new car. Stereotypically, he wants something like a Tesla, which he absolutely doesn't need. He wants us to move in together and for me to buy a house with a pool. He's now starting talking about kids, that we can afford them blah blah, even though he knows that I am child-free. I've been refusing every single request, telling him that necessities come first and that money is under lock and key until I speak with my financial advisors. He's not very happy about this. He's been calling me a Scrooge, telling him I don't love him anymore, and calling me a cheapskate. Worst of all, he now told every one of our friends about this, and they've started pressuring me as well, asking me to fund nights out, etc. And they've been very cruel when I refuse, a-hole being almost a compliment. I'm devastated. Am I really an a-hole in this situation? Am I the a-hole for not wanting to spend frivolously? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Ditch the boyfriend ASAP. Don't buy him a pack of gum, let alone anything else. He's trying to manipulate you with guilt with "if you love me" and by telling mutual friends about your money. I'm so happy for you, using your money so well. Also, be careful with birth control. Sounds like he's trying to baby trap you. I mean, God, why would you even sleep with someone who is trying to bully you like this? Don't even worry about birth control. Just completely stay physically away from this guy. Not the a-hole. You are doing the smart thing with this windfall, as well as keeping it to yourself. It's amazing how many people act entitled and the gimmies come out. Your friends are being the a-hole. Your boyfriend is the a-hole. This man and your friends are showing their true colors. He shouldn't be pressuring you for anything. He just wants access to that money. P.S. Consider going no contact or low contact with these friends while you process all this. +1 on your boyfriend and friends being a-holes. Life-changing money can show you who are really the ones that are friends. Friends wouldn't be asking you for money like that and expecting you to give it up so quick. That kind of money, if used frivolously, goes quick. Don't be a pushover. And please drop the boyfriend. It's been less than a year and he's expecting you to buy a car for him? How does that make sense? Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Unfortunately, your boyfriend now sees you as an ATM, not a girlfriend. It's not you. A sudden influx of money shows people's true colors. He and your friends will not leave you alone about this either. They will suck you dry for the money and then dump you. I would dump him and block them, then move ASAP. You need new friends. I thought the exact same thing. Dump him, the friends, and move. I don't think I would feel safe with people knowing where I live. Next story. Am I the a-hole for pretending not to know my fiancé after she had a meltdown during boarding the plane and was eventually thrown off? I imagine I'm gonna get raked over the coals for this one. So, my fiancé, maybe not for much longer, and I were on our way back from a vacation recently. It was a great time, and everything went off without an issue. That is, until we started boarding the plane. Now I know better, so I only bring a small backpack with essentials in case I don't get my checked bags. I can survive out of this backpack, and it will always pass baggage check for size and weight. Done a lot of traveling, so why fight the system? My fiancé didn't want to listen to my advice though, and chose to bring basically a regular size bag that barely fits the standards of carry-on. But generally speaking, the airline worker doesn't want to deal with the trouble and allows it through. But this time, the airline worker was not having it. It was a packed flight. We were boarding last in economy, and it was just a crap show. I got through just fine first with my little backpack, but I could hear the argument from the boarding tunnel thingy, and it was getting heated. I was about to go back and try to smooth it out, but my fiancé rushed past and just boarded a plane. I assumed, not having heard it super clearly, that the attendant had given in and let her on. That was not a case. So, we found our seats and settled in. I was pretty tired, and I could tell she was upset, so I just kinda tucked into the window and put my hat down and tried to take a nap. But soon after, the airline worker and a cop shows up, and they're not messing around and want her off the plane. She tries to plead and cry, etc., but they're not having it. It may be in a moment of panic or just plain self-preservation. When a cop asked if we're together, I blurted out, "No," shaking my head emphatically. I got killed dagger eyes from her as she shut up and grabbed her bag and followed the cop out. She was also swearing and screaming the whole way out. Now, obviously, this is well after the event that I'm posting this. But when she did eventually get home after she caught the next flight out with the bag checked, lol, I was there to pick her up. She obviously thought I was the a-hole. And to be honest, almost everyone I know thinks I am, except my boss and co-workers, who for context were very much relying on me to be back on time, which I gave my word I would for a really important project that was time sensitive. They were all very happy I didn't get thrown off too. So, am I the a-hole for this self-preservation? Not the a-hole. Get out while you still can. This is how she'll be forever. She'll never learn from this experience. Disagree. Nothing like the humiliation of a cop escorting you off a plane to learn that rules really are a thing. Loss of time, money, and public humiliation are very powerful teachers. And now Opie can reference this whenever she forgets her social decorum. Acting up in a restaurant? Jeez, I hope they don't escort you out of here like they did off that plane. But how is it possible an adult human needs that level of intervention? I have a hard time believing she'll reform. People like that just don't get humiliated. They get indignant and dig in on their wrong position harder. I couldn't deal. I'd be out. Honestly, I was ready to rake you over the coals. But now I'm thinking not the a-hole. This isn't like your fiancé had an anxiety attack over fear flying. It sounds to me like a full-on grown woman temper tantrum, which only happened because she didn't listen to your travel advice. To be fair, I don't travel light either, but I also don't try to put my giant luggage in the overhead bins. She did this to herself. I don't travel light either. I pay extra for luggage on flights. My significant other pokes fun at me about it with his backpack. But I say it's a luxury I choose to pay for. Next time he pokes fun, this story's coming out. Well, would you rather? Not the a-hole, and please seriously consider whether you want events like this to be a normal part of your life. Because someone who reacts like that when she knows she's in the wrong is not going to change. Although, if not for the work thing, and if you wanted to save the relationship, you probably should have gotten off with her. Not because she was anyway in the right, but because she's going to hold this over your head and sulk for a very long time. I'll be honest, I wouldn't have even argued with the airline worker. I'm just not like that. I would have smiled and politely agreed to whatever they wanted. I hate conflicts that are unnecessary. Conflicts like that can get you blacklisted. I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that either. Same for the police involvement. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not including my siblings' children in my will even though I'm child-free? I, female 39, have always had an almost non-existent relationship with my half-sister, female 59, and half-brother, male 57, in large due to our age gap, and that our father passed away when I was 2 years old. I grew up with my mother and always saw myself as a single child, even though my mother would talk about my siblings. Starting from when I was 14 years old, my siblings and I have made some attempts to create a relationship, but it has never worked. We are fundamentally different people. And if we didn't share a family connection, I would never have spent time with them. So we are low contact. I had a rocky start in my work life, having a degree I couldn't use. I got back to school for a new degree when I was 30. It worked out good, and I'm today working a high-paying job. For my days living on minimum wage and studying, I have learned to take care of my money. I was recently able to buy my own house, I don't have children, and no expensive hobbies. All this adds up to me being able to put money away each month, which is a big deal for me. Insecurity. When my father passed away, we divided inheritance. So my mother, as they were married, got 50% and us children split the other half equally. My siblings didn't want any of the memorabilia my father collected. Little value but cool things, so I have them now. Anyway, the other day my sister calls me. I'm a little taken aback, but okay, I can live with awkward small talk for 20 minutes. Then out of the blue, she asks me if I have a will. I didn't think, but just blurt out yes. She then asks me if her and my brother's children are the beneficiaries. I'm honest and say no. I have met my brother's two girls once when I was about 20 years old. I have never even met my sister's children. She then starts to question who I will leave everything to. I say that father's memorabilia will go to an aviator museum. Some things will be given to close friends as they hold shared memories. The rest is to be sold, and together with my savings be split evenly between an organization helping people with alcohol and drug addiction and cancer research. My sister is livid, telling me that that is money that can make a big difference in my siblings' children's lives. Sure, but I don't feel obligated to provide that for them. If I wanted to leave my money to someone, it would be my boyfriend's son. I have seen him grow up and been like an aunt to him. Now my brother is calling too and saying that I'm being cruel and that I am stealing both the past and the future from his children. So am I the a-hole for not including my siblings' children in my will? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. You don't know your siblings' children. They don't know you. You aren't particularly close to your siblings and never have been. It's entitled to the point of being absolutely tacky that they think they can shake you down for money on the basis of shared DNA, which never meant anything to them during your formative years and doesn't mean much now. Not the a-hole. You barely have contact with your sister, and she calls you out of the blue to ask if you have a will? Also, you're only 39. Something sounds fishy, like she wants something. Keep your guard up. 100%. Sounds like someone is banking on OP's money. Not the a-hole. They are 20 years older than you. Why would they expect you to pass earlier than their kids? They had no problem taking their portion of the estate, and you were a minor. So ask them if you should assume they stole from you because you didn't get to grow up with as much financial security with two working parents like they did. And how can you steal money that belongs to you? Being child-free is being the rich aunt/uncle's heirs. Last story. Am I the a-hole for feeling entitled to food I did not technically pay for? I, 34 male, recently went to a get-together with some friends of mine. I get along with most everyone within the group, outside of one person who we will call Mike. Mike is someone who I feel is selfish and can be a bully, and I feel it has gotten worse recently. However, we have all been friends since high school, so I put up with it. Well, Mike decides he wants to have everyone over to play some Settlers of Catan. We used to get together a lot more to play board games or Smash Bros or whatnot, but as we all have gotten older, that obviously happened less and less. Fortunately, everyone's schedules lined up and we were able to plan this. Now, it is important for me to insert here that recently I had been off work for a month. It was of no fault of my own, and fortunately I am back to work now. Because of that though, money's really tight for me right now and my friends all knew this. We all go to Mike's to hang out, and it was a great night. We end up staying longer than expected and people get hungry. Some people decide they want to order pizza. They ask if I want to throw in some money for pizza and I say, no, gotta watch what I spend for a bit. Obviously I wanted some and could probably afford it, but I was trying to be responsible. Another friend of mine, we'll call Jake, offered to put in for me, but I tell him, no, I will be okay. Maybe this is where I messed up. Anyways, right as they are about to order, I remember that I have a coupon for the place they are ordering from. It had been my birthday a week prior and received it as a gift or something. I let them know I have it and that they can use it, and it added on a medium one topping for free. They're excited for it and accept it. I guess it's important to note that I have offered it willingly, not as a trade or bargain. The pizza arrives and everyone digs in. I ask everyone if it's cool if I have some of the medium pizza. At first, Jake and a couple others say yes, but then Mike says, you didn't put any money in. Why are you asking for pizza? I explained that this pizza wouldn't even be here if not for me, but he says that it also wouldn't be here without him because everyone else paid for the other pizza. Jake offered to throw in a few bucks for me again, but Mike said it's BS that I tried to pull this. It really put a damper on the night, and I ended up leaving without having any. Mike sent messages in the group chat about how I tried to pull a fast one on everyone. Most everyone is trying to stay out of it, outside of Jake, who is still sticking by me. I understand that I didn't put money in, but I can't help but feel like he is making way too big a deal about this. So I come to you all. Am I the a-hole? Edit. There appears to be some misunderstanding, but the coupon was spend $20, get a one-topping pizza for free. Not that I just add on one topping to an existing pizza. An entirely new pizza was added. Wow, not the a-hole. Your coupon bought that pizza, so you contributed. But the guy has issues. Who tries to deny a friend food and humiliate them? Absolute prick. Dude, you got them a free medium pizza. Does Mike want to pay you back for that? Unbelievable. Mike is totally the a-hole here. Did he read the first chapter of A Christmas Carol and see a life path? Jesus Christ. Even if the guy hadn't had a freaking coupon, if he were at my house, he'd be eating. Opie's friends angers me too. It is food. Opie, you are not the a-hole by any stretch of the imagination, but you need better friends. Not the a-hole. You didn't assume and take pizza. You asked for a slice of the pizza your coupon provided. My friend group would have looked at you like an alien and go, duh, we aren't just going to eat in front of you. So long as this wasn't a constant thing. Mike doesn't sound like a great friend. Agreed. This whole thing is strange. Someone is having a tough time. Friends help out. If this is how Mike treats a friend, imagine how he treats strangers. Opie, not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend I wasn't donating part of my liver to him? My boyfriend, 31 male, in the past had a binge drinking problem before we met. By the time we met, he had been sober for years, but he had cirrhosis on his liver that doesn't look to be getting better and had some really bad lab results. He also had an embolism in his lungs, so had reduced his lung function and diabetes. I went to a liver specialist to mention that my boyfriend might need a liver transplant in the future, and he came back pretty bummed about that, understandably. He then, not seriously, but kind of hopefully let me know that I should donate part of my liver to him if we matched. I told him no, and I was kind of shocked he would ask. We've been dating 8 months, and while I like him, I'm not convinced he is the one yet. He has a lot of qualities I like, but some that drive me up the wall, including having poor personal hygiene and not looking after his diet and eating mostly fast food, which probably caused the diabetes. He was surprised, and then tried to cover it up, saying he didn't expect it and was just joking. I felt like he was serious, but didn't want to seem that way and told him I would only think about doing something so personal for a parent, sibling, or spouse, and only if we were in good terms. Then he joked that he could just ask me to marry him to get my liver, and I told him now that he's mentioned it, it would make any marriage proposal seem disingenuous, so I wouldn't get matched to see if I was a candidate beforehand. He got serious and told me the liver isn't a big transplant and I would still be able to keep part of my liver. I told him it doesn't matter that the liver regenerates. I wouldn't even think about doing it for just a boyfriend. He got offended and said he would do it for me if the situation was reversed. But I said the problem is the situation isn't reversed, so I'm not convinced he would just because he's spouting platitudes. He got really angry and stormed out and hasn't been back in hours. Am I the a-hole for being overly honest with him that I wouldn't donate any liver for him? Now for the top comments. This is a bad sign, and more than just this one level. A big part of recovery is taking responsibility for your past. He doesn't appear to be doing that if he's expecting your help, even if he framed it as a joke. 8 months is way too short of a time for him to have the impression you'd be willing to donate one of your organs, particularly when the need for it stems from his past addiction struggles. I think your instincts might be correct. He's not the one. You and your liver should run, not stay whole. If Opie wanted, she could get tested and let the doctor know she doesn't want to donate if a match, and the doctor will just say not a match. But honestly, just throw away the whole man who wants to make "I was just joking," but treats you as if it were serious jokes. It ties into what the above comment was saying, that recovery means taking responsibility for your past. Jokes like that show the kind of person who wants to do whatever but face zero consequences. Not stay whole. Not stay whole. No one, and I can't believe I have to say this, is entitled to your liver. Dear Lord, it's your literal organ and you can do whatever you want with it. We've seen gold diggers and now we see a liver digger. Not stay home. It seems like from your message you already know deep down that he's not the one. Even if he was the one, I wouldn't do it for a boyfriend. I might do it for a spouse because at that point we are married, but that's just me. OP, you're absolutely right. He has also ruined any future proposal with his comments too, as it will also come across as disingenuous and conniving. He definitely wasn't joking considering he kept pushing the subject after you said no. You're so unbelievably not the a-hole. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for deeply insulting my mom's boyfriend's son at a family event because I thought something he said was a little misogynistic? We had a little garden party a few days ago at my mom's long-term partner's, John, weekend house. His older son, Charles, was also there. Charles is 32, lives with his mother, unemployed, and maybe worked a total of 1 year in his entire life if we add up the bits. He doesn't have any mental or physical disabilities, and he has a degree in computer science. He is just lazy and always brings up excuses for why he doesn't have a job. Charles spends his days playing video games, taking care of his 2 dogs, his newest excuse to why he can't work. And he keeps his mom's apartment clean, does their laundry, and he thinks that's enough contribution. His younger brother also lives with them because if he moved out, he would have to stop financially contributing. And their mom couldn't afford to feed /clothe /etc. Charles and herself anymore. I think it's fair to say that Charles is a leech. At one point in the conversations, Charles was asked if he is dating anyone /goes on dates. He replied, "Nah, I'm not interested. Those S-words are not good for anything. They only want my money. I'm not going to let myself be used by anyone." Well, I really didn't like how he referred to women as S-words, and I found it ridiculous that he was afraid of women wanting his money, as he doesn't have any and mooches off of his mother and brother. So I laughed at his face and asked him, "What money?" That he is just a useless, broke loser who is using his poor mother, leeching off of her, and he provides no value to the world. He is a burden on everyone around him. He just said that he contributes more than enough, that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, and that his mother owes him a lot than left. I'm not going to say that I feel bad about Charles, because I don't. But John looked so sad and devastated, and I kind of ruined the party. John is a great guy, and I feel bad for him. I know he blames himself for Charles. Am I the a-hole for insulting John's son in front of John? Do I owe John an apology? Not stay home. John is sad because he knows what you said is true. Charles is what makes him upset, not you. But if you want to talk to him about it, I think that would be okay. Maybe start by apologizing for allowing yourself to get drawn into an argument at a party, because that is a legitimate thing to apologize for. Opie could have stopped at, "What money?" It was John's party and Opie should apologize. Being right also means handling it effectively, not just spewing words. There's also a bunch of other better words to use for women than S-words, so it looks like everyone made choices that day. If Charles had used the N-word or said something about gay people, not a single person here would find that Opie out of place. But misogyny is so ingrained, it doesn't have the same impact. He deserves to be called out, shamed, and ridiculed. If Opie had addressed the misogyny, that would be different. She didn't. None of what she said addressed how he spoke of women. It was all personal insults. Nothing she said is going to make him rethink anything. She said his life provides no value, but her tirade provided no value to the cause she claimed to be fighting for. I really feel like this is objectively and everyone sucks here, but I'm going with my gut and giving you an a-hole. You are 100% correct for calling out the disgusting comments and spoke the truth to put the child in his place. But you probably violated time, place, and manner in how you went about it. He certainly has it coming, and could probably benefit from being called out on his situation. Apologize to John but explain why you blew up. Yo, Charles, nothing. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my dad's girlfriend force me to keep kosher? Alright, so my 16 female dad has been dating this new woman, Natalie, for around 3 years now. She's fine or whatever. I don't really talk to her much, but she's always been nice to me, except for being extremely weird about her kitchen. For reference, Natalie is Jewish and me and my dad are not. Natalie keeps kosher very strictly, which for people who don't know, meaning she won't even eat off plates that have touched non-kosher food, eat at non-kosher restaurants, or even in our houses is not kosher. There's a lot of other rules, but it would take me forever to list them all. All you have to know is she's strict about her food. And even though she's never tried to force this on me or my dad, and we don't care that she doesn't eat out / in our house, I'm getting annoyed at how anal retentive she is about her apartment. If you visit her, she asks that you not bring non-kosher food and let her cook for you. She's a great cook and always makes sure we have something to eat. But sometimes I want to eat bacon or shrimp or something, and I think it's weird to tell your underage guest they can't do that in your house even if they don't use your utensils? On to the conflict. Basically, I bought a cheeseburger with a side of popcorn shrimp on my way to her apartment, since my dad and I are staying the night. I didn't feel like eating it in the car or at the restaurant because it's weird to eat by yourself, so I brought it inside. I used one of Natalie's plates to set the food on, because I guess I didn't just want to eat out of the bag. I don't know. But anyway, she saw me and my dad started freaking out on me about how could I disrespect her like this. Natalie went into her room. But like at the end of the day, I feel like she's over twice my age and getting mad at a child for being hungry. Plus, I was going to wash the plate she literally never would have known. So I feel like she's just being weird and strict to feel different. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Look, dude, I get it. I've been an atheist just about all my life. And for the most of that time, I thought religion was pretty silly. I still don't have faith. But I've come to learn that if folks need structure to their spirituality, who am I to criticize as long as it's not harming anyone? More to the point, these kosher rules, which may seem like nonsense to you and me, are clearly very deeply important to Natalie. It was communicated to you how important they are to her and how seriously she takes them. And you absolutely, 100% disrespected Natalie's deeply held beliefs in her own home. If she was coming over to your house and forcing you to be kosher or whatever, I'd be on your side 100%. But in this case, you're the a-hole. Yeah, basically came to say the same. She has not pushed her beliefs on you. She's being respectful to you and your dad when she's at your place, so return that favor. You're fully aware of how she is and how strongly she practices her beliefs, and you just didn't give a damn. You're the a-hole. Me too. Her home, her rules. Abstaining from pork and shellfish during those periods doesn't harm you. You're the a-hole, and because this can't be emphasized enough, her home, her rules. You're the a-hole. First of all, stop pretending you were just a hungry child. A cheeseburger with a side of popcorn shrimp? You literally ordered the two least kosher things you could think of in a combination that almost no one orders. It is her house. You don't live there, and there are so many options available to you to eat and still respect her religion. Or you could have eaten in a car but you didn't feel like it. You're being a brat and you know it. You're acting like this is some strange set of rules she's made up out of nothing just to mess with you. Which even if it were so, she should be respected in her home. But it's a fairly well-known set of rules practiced by major faith. Take time to reflect on why you are so bothered about how this woman runs her home in which you do not live. Apologize and buy her a new plate. Also, didn't feel like eating out of the container, so she had to use a plate. Containers would still be rude to do in a kosher home without explicit permission anyways, but at least it's not unkoshering someone's dishes. I know Jews who keep a kosher kitchen but are cool with non-kosher food in paper plates, or in areas outside their main kitchen, like using a kitchenette in an entertainment space or eating in the living room, etc. This just sounds like a deliberate slap in the face to Natalie and her beliefs. Also, the statement that they intended to wash up and put the unkoshered plate back without Natalie knowing? I do not know where to start with the lack of ethics that implies. Like, I am not Jewish, and I cannot imagine doing this to my worst enemy. Last story is titled, Am I the a-hole for no longer giving an employee discount to someone who quit working for me? I know the title sounds ridiculous. If you don't work somewhere, you are not an employee, and as such, you do not qualify for an employee discount there. But hear me out, it's more complicated than that, and I just might be the a-hole here. I own a company that has several diverse revenue streams. We own a real estate, we own restaurants, we own a vape shop, and we own several convenience stores/gas stations. I offer every employee of my company 20% reduced rent if they choose to rent one of my properties. So if you're a vape shop employee and your rent is supposed to be $1,000, it's $800. One of my employees, Valerie, recently decided that she needed to focus on school and she would no longer be able to keep her part-time job at my store. Her rent is supposed to be $600, but with the 20% less, she's been paying $480 a month for the past 2 years. After she quit, she paid us the normal $480 that she had been paying as an employee. I had my property manager send her a letter letting her know that she was short $120 and that she had a 30-day grace period to make up the difference before I would add late fees. Her mom sent me an angry email saying that it's not fair for me to punish her daughter for having poor mental health and being unable to hold down a job while going to school. On the one hand, I feel like I'm not the a-hole because I'm sticking to the contract we signed. On the other hand, I kind of feel like I am the a-hole because that $120 per month isn't gonna make or break me. But on the other hand, if I give her the discount even though she's not my employee, I would feel morally obligated to reduce all of my rents by 20%. And as such, I would no longer be making a profit at all by renting these places out. Please note if your answer is you're the a-hole because all landlords are bad, I am going to completely ignore your comment. Might as well not waste your time. Nothing is as black and white as you are pretending life is. Not the a-hole. Landlords aren't obligated to have mental health clauses in their rental agreements. Valerie signed a rental agreement and is responsible for knowing the terms of the agreement. Having her mother email you is ridiculous. Kind of feel better about my decision with the first 3 comments all being unanimous. I guess the guilt trip her mom laid on me was working a bit too well. Just the fact her mom and not her mailed you is reason enough in my opinion. Not the a-hole. You're not punishing her as her mother claims. When she was working for you, she was essentially earning credit towards her rent. Now that she is not working for you, she no longer earns that credit. Also, what business does her mother have in this? Is mom on a lease? You and Valerie signed a contract. Unless mom has taken over her finances or something, she has nothing to do with this. Nah, she's not even in the same state we are. I think she complained to her mom and her mom went full mama bear. Your rental discount for employees are really quite generous, and so long as the contract is clear about the terms, then not the a-hole. As you said, once you start doing favors, then everyone will take advantage. I think you're legally in the clear, but maybe draft a letter for employees in the future. When they quit, reminding them the rent will change as of specific date. Not the a-hole. You give a discount as a thank you for good service and for working for you. She does not work for you, so you have no obligation to give her the discount. A bit of notice would have been nice, as she probably didn't think about it. But yeah, don't give her 20% off because then other employees would feel hard done by. I agree. It would have been nice if she had given notice that she was quitting. Then we could have possibly worked something out. Lol, your reply made me giggle. I have a small company with 6 employees and quitting on the spot really screws me over. Had one quit the day before I left on vacation and almost ruined it.